unite this nation and have it move forward. How I wish that we will rise above self. We will rise above political affiliations and considerations and unite this country. 2022 will come and go, and that is one of the reasons why this country has experienced lots of divisions. But, Honorable Speaker, my Bible tells me that we should be so quick to listen and slow to answer. And you are exactly in that position, Honorable Speaker. When this country was at the brink of precipice in 2007, most of those that championed that particular occurrence was a result of pronouncements from the political class. We have seen once again politicians, playing the gongs of war once again. And we are barely a year into the next election. And I'm very afraid, Honorable Speaker, that left unchecked, this country may go deeper into the morass where we don't want it to be. And, Honorable Speaker, I support you. Reach across the aisle, as you have always played a very impartial role in this House. We expect you to do the same. Please reach out to our political leaders. Bring them together once again. Only one president can be at any given time in this country. We know those who cannot be presidents, however much they try. We know those who can be presidents if a level playing field will be in place next year. And, Honorable Speaker, I congratulate you, and I ask you to help us bring this country into peace, into oneness, so that we live together as a one unitary society. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honourable members, can we not... that Honourable Chieng? Member for Rangwe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. I also join. Mr. Speaker, I come from Ugenya.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to congratulate you, sir. And many times fruits just fall by the tree, and they only fall when they are ripe. It is only prudent that a wise man who has discharged his duty responsibly be recognized by his community to be given another level of responsibility. And this is exactly what has happened to you, Honorable Speaker, and I congratulate you. And the great people of Rangwe constituency also congratulate you. And having said that, Honorable Speaker, sir, there was a matter that was raised here in the manner of addressing that members need to observe. But it is also getting worrisome, and it is prudent that in your wisdom that your community and the larger Kenya has seen as you discharge your responsibility, that you kind of spew this wisdom on members who have juvenile tendencies. Because as it were among us here, Honorable Speaker, sir, there are members who forget that all of us who are in this National Assembly for one reason or another are representing an electoral college. There are members who do not have respect for colleagues, and I think I need to bring your attention to this, especially what is happening. What makes me stand and talk in this National Assembly is Rangwe constituency and the great people. But it is important that it is brought to Handshake that if you do not address and bring to conclusion matter of disrespect among colleagues, then it is going to escalate into something nasty, which is not good for this House. And I'm saying this without fear of contradiction, that if you do not arrest, because I have looked at it responsibly and as an academic, if you do not address the matter of Gladys Wanga spewing a lot of insults at me in my constituency that are apolitical, then it is going to degrade into something else that is not going to be very pleasant for this House. So I seek your indulgence on this matter, Honorable Speaker, that investigations be done accordingly and it be addressed responsibly. I congratulate you once more, Honorable Speaker, and thank you for your new role, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, honour members, Honourable Kanini Kega. But honour members, even as the Honourable Kanini Kega, Chair of Budget Appraisal Committee speaks, I've always said it, honour members, I have advised in the past that, in fairness, let us respect one another.
When I heard about it, I never knew about it before, Honorable Speaker. And because I have no ill faith against anybody and any member of this House, Honorable Speaker, I appreciated that the people of Meru and the elders in Meru have seen something in you and decided to bestow you. And I know a week before, the elders from Embu had done the same. And I pray that the elders from the larger Mount Kenya region, the Kiama, will also do the same to you, Honorable Speaker, and we'll appreciate. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I would ask of all of us is to respect each other. I was rather taken aback, Honorable Speaker, when I saw one of the nominated members who ought to be an elder in our community, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know if the member, the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Honorable Commander, is here. Say some very disparaging things against you, not just in your position now as a spokesman of a region, but also as Speaker of this House, Honorable Speaker. The member for Ntonyiri, is it Igembe North, the Honorable Maoka Maore, said also very unpalatable things about you in a TV station, Honorable Speaker. And this is a behavior that we must condemn as a House, Mr. Speaker. We must respect you. Honorable Speaker, I am saying we must respect you as first, as our leader in this House. Two, as a statesman who has served this country, even as a member of parliament, not seated where you are seated today, Honorable Speaker, but also sitting here representing the people of Siakago, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these members. I know Honorable Maoka Maore may take offense that he was not invited. And he said things that you are invited to a public rally. It was not a public rally. I know in our community, in the Meru community, in the Embu community, in the Ageko community, our Kiamas, our council of elders are not political affairs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, nobody should say that you are invited to address a political rally in Meru. I am sure if you wanted to address a political rally, you have the wherewithal to even mobilize more members of public to attend a political rally than some of these people who are calling you. No wonder some of them are representing, I don't know what interest in this House, nominated to represent a known interest, Honorable Speaker. And they have the audacity to disrespect you. I want to take this opportunity to condemn them with the strongest words possible, Honorable Speaker. They must be ashamed of their... Honorable Speaker, it is indeed shameful, but I want to congratulate you and ask you, as a speaker, Honorable Speaker, sir, as an elder in this country, because you're of age to be an elder, Mr. Speaker. I know you, I know your children. Some of your children are as old as I am, and some older than me, Honorable Speaker. You are an elder, and you can speak on behalf of the people of Siakago, on behalf of the people of Embu, on behalf of the entire Mount Kenya region, and even for this country, Honorable Speaker, besides being a Speaker of the National Assembly. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker. The honor that you have been given by the Embu people, the Ameru people, Honorable Speaker, is good. But I want to beseech you. It is a small group of elders that have bestowed you with that respect to speak on behalf of the people. Honorable Speaker, those elders are representatives of people on the ground. I want to beseech you to become a spokesman of the people, a spokesman of the Hustler Nation people. Speak on behalf of the people, Honorable Speaker. Speak on behalf of those who have no voice. Speak on behalf of those who have no opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, you speak on behalf of those who have no voice to attend the Council of Elders meetings. Speak on behalf of those who are not able to attend this House. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker,
Now-
I want to congratulate you and ask you, Honorable Speaker, that be firm, stand for the Hustler Nation.
Now, I think we need to have we need to have taken note of what was said by the member for Kisumu West. Let's make it brief. Honorable Fatuma Gendi.
Mr. Speaker, to close. I want to, so that we move from the politics, Mr. Speaker, to the reality. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you because you deserve that role, Mr. Speaker. As a first-timer, I've learned a lot from you. Humility, you're a humble person. You are indeed a judge. When we have Tanga in Kieleweke, you have been firm and you have been fair to us. And that is the leadership we want. And Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that you are the one person that will going to unite this country. And Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to urge my colleagues, let's not politicize and insult each other. We need each other, and that is what you've taught us. If indeed we are good students, we shall learn from you the humility and the way you've been carrying your role as a speaker in this house, uniting members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. And again, yesterday being the International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker, as women of this country, and you now coming from Mount Kenya, we want also you to hold one of our own and put her in that table. And none other than Her Excellency Governor Anne Waiguru. That is the leader we have as women. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And take her to the enduring jackets, Mr. Speaker, for...
Well, Honorable Wanga, but honorable members, surely, we need to go to do business now.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, this is very important business. Congratulating you, Honorable Speaker, is very, very important business for the House. So, Honorable Speaker, because of your leadership that you have provided us, Honorable Speaker, you had a very, very difficult parliament in the last parliament. And that was where it was make or break. But you showed tolerance, you showed patience, you showed non-partisanship on many occasions. Even after we had many things and many people said, leave these ones out, you said this house is a house for all members. So, Honorable Speaker, what the Njuri have seen is a person who has grown. You have grown from serving in the judiciary for over 15 years. You have gone to Chicago, you have served them for 10 years. You served here as whip in the opposition. You served as chairman of the Public Investments Committee. You came and you have served as the Speaker of this House. You served as the chairman of the CMD. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if there's anyone with more experience, especially in the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, if there's anybody with huge amounts of experience, it is yourself. So, Honorable Speaker, your coronation and your installation is well deserved. So for that, we all rise to congratulate you from all angles and from every space that we look. Honorable Speaker, I served with you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. You are a man of integrity. And even at times when people expected that you do something out of this world, you always stood by your word and you put your foot down. So, Honorable Speaker, congratulations. Honorable Speaker, on the other matters that have been raised, I am a seasoned member of this House. You have made a ruling. I will hold on to that, and I will let your ruling on the matter prevail, Honorable Speaker, because you lead us and we follow in your leadership. However much I feel pressed to say something, I will hold myself back in honor of this House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanga, for maintaining that. Member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honorable Speaker. And because I have no ill faith against anybody and any member of this House, Honorable Speaker, I appreciated that the people of Meru and the elders in Meru have seen something in you and decided to bestow you. And I know a week before, the elders from Embu had done the same. And I pray that the elders from the larger Mount Kenya region, the Kiama, will also do the same to you, Honorable Speaker, and we'll appreciate. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I would ask of all of us is to respect each other. I was rather taken aback, Honorable Speaker, when I saw one of the nominated members who ought to be an elder in our community, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know if the member, the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Honorable Commander, is here. Say some very disparaging things against you, not just in your position now as a spokesman of a region, but also as Speaker of this House, Honorable Speaker. The member for Ntonyiri, is it Igembe North, the Honorable Mauka Maore, said also very unpalatable things about you in a TV station, Honorable Speaker. And this is a behavior that we must condemn as a House, Mr. Speaker. We must respect you. Honorable Speaker, I am saying we must respect you as first as our leader in this House. Two, as a statesman who has served this country, even as a member of parliament, not seated where you are seated today, Honorable Speaker, but also sitting here representing the people of Siakago, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these members. I know Honorable Mauka Maore may take offense that he was not invited. And he said things that you are invited to a public rally. It was not a public rally. I know in our community, in the Meru community, in the Embu community, in the Ageko community, our Kiamas, our council of elders are not political affairs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, nobody should say that you are invited to address a political rally in Meru. I am sure if you wanted to address a political rally, you have the wherewithal to even mobilize more members of public to attend a political rally than some of these people who are calling you. No wonder some of them are representing, I don't know what interest in this House, nominated to represent a known interest, Honorable Speaker. And they have the audacity to disrespect you. I want to take this opportunity to condemn them with the strongest words possible, Honorable Speaker. They must be ashamed of their... Honorable Speaker, it is indeed shameful, but I want to congratulate you and ask you, as a speaker, Honorable Speaker, sir, as an elder in this country, because you're of age to be an elder, Mr. Speaker. I know your children. Some of your children are as old as I am, and some older than me, Honorable Speaker. You are an elder, and you can speak on behalf of the people of Siakago, on behalf of the people of Embu, on behalf of the entire Mount Kenya region, and even for this country, Honorable Speaker, besides being a Speaker of the National Assembly. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker. The honor that you have been given by the Embu people, the Ameru people, Honorable Speaker, is good. But I want to beseech you. It is a small group of elders that have bestowed you with that respect to speak on behalf of the people. Honorable Speaker, those elders are representatives of people on the ground. I want to beseech you to become a spokesman of the people, a spokesman of the Hustler Nation people. Speak on behalf of the people, Honorable Speaker. Speak on behalf of those who have no voice. Speak on behalf of those who have no opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, you speak on behalf of those who have no voice to attend the Council of Elders meetings. Speak on behalf of those who are not able to attend this House. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, now I want to congratulate you and ask you, Honorable Speaker, that be firm, stand for the Hustler Nation.
Now, I think we need to have taken note of what was said by the member for Kisumu West. Let's make it brief. Honorable Fatuma Gendi.
Mr. Speaker, to close. I want to, so that we move from the politics, Mr. Speaker, to the reality. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you because you deserve that role, Mr. Speaker. As a first-timer, I've learned a lot from you. Humility, you're a humble person. You are indeed a judge. When we have Tanga and Kieleweke, you have been firm and you have been fair to us. And that is the leadership we want. And Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that you are the one person that will going to unite this country. And Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to urge my colleagues, let's not politicize and insult each other. We need each other, and that is what you've taught us. If indeed we are good students, we shall learn from you the humility and the way you've been carrying your role as a speaker in this house, uniting members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. And again, yesterday being the International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker, as women of this country, and you now coming from Mount Kenya, we want also you to hold one of our own and put her in that table. And none other than Her Excellency Governor Anne Waiguru. That is the leader we have as women. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And take her to the enduring jackets, Mr. Speaker, for...
Well, Honorable Wanga, but honorable members, surely, we need to go to do business now.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, this is very important business. Congratulating you, Honorable Speaker, is very, very important business for the House. So, Honorable Speaker, because of your leadership that you have provided us, Honorable Speaker, you had a very, very difficult parliament in the last parliament. And that was where it was make or break. But you showed tolerance, you showed patience, you showed non-partisanship on many occasions. Even after we had many things and many people said, leave these ones out, you said this house is a house for all members. So, Honorable Speaker, what the Njuri have seen is a person who has grown. You have grown from serving in the judiciary for over 15 years. You have gone to Chicago. You have served them for 10 years. You served here as whip in the opposition. You served as chairman of the Public Investments Committee. You came and you have served as the Speaker of this House. You served as the chairman of the CMD. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if there's anyone with more experience, especially in the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, if there's anybody with huge amounts of experience, it is yourself. So, Honorable Speaker, your coronation and your installation is well deserved. So for that, we all rise to congratulate you from all angles and from every space that we look. Honorable Speaker, I served with you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. You are a man of integrity. And even at times when people expected that you do something out of this world, you always stood by your word and you put your foot down. So, Honorable Speaker, congratulations. Honorable Speaker, on the other matters that have been raised, I am a seasoned member of this House. You have made a ruling. I will hold on to that, and I will let your ruling on the matter prevail, Honorable Speaker, because you lead us and we follow in your leadership. However much I feel pressed to say something, I will hold myself back in honor of this House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanga, for maintaining that. Member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to...
When I heard about it, I never knew about it before, Honorable Speaker. And because I have no ill faith against anybody and any member of this House, Honorable Speaker, I appreciated that the people of Meru and the elders in Meru have seen something in you and decided to bestow you. And I know a week before, the elders from Embu had done the same. And I pray that the elders from the larger Mount Kenya region, the Kiama, will also do the same to you, Honorable Speaker, and we'll appreciate. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I would ask of all of us is to respect each other. I was rather taken aback, Honorable Speaker, when I saw one of the nominated members who ought to be an elder in our community, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know if the member, the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Honorable Commander, is here. Say some very disparaging things against you, not just in your position now as a spokesman of a region, but also as Speaker of this House, Honorable Speaker. The member for Ntonyiri, is it Igembe North, the Honorable Mauka Maore, said also very unpalatable things about you in a TV station, Honorable Speaker. And this is a behavior that we must condemn as a House, Mr. Speaker. We must respect you. Honorable Speaker, I am saying we must respect you as first, as our leader in this House. Two, as a statesman who has served this country, even as a member of parliament, not seated where you are seated today, Honorable Speaker, but also sitting here representing the people of Siakago, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these members. I know Honorable Mauka Maore may take offense that he was not invited. And he said things that you are invited to a public rally. It was not a public rally. I know in our community, in the Meru community, in the Ayembu community, in the Ageko community, our Kiamas, our council of elders are not political affairs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, nobody should say that you are invited to address a political rally in Meru. I am sure if you wanted to address a political rally, you have the wherewithal to even mobilize more members of public to attend a political rally than some of these people who are calling you. No wonder some of them are representing, I don't know what interest in this House, nominated to represent a known interest, Honorable Speaker. And they have the audacity to disrespect you. I want to take this opportunity to condemn them with the strongest words possible, Honorable Speaker. They must be ashamed of their... Honorable Speaker, it is indeed shameful, but I want to congratulate you and ask you, as a Speaker, Honorable Speaker, sir, as an elder in this country, because you're of age to be an elder, Mr. Speaker. I know your children. Some of your children are as old as I am, and some older than me, Honorable Speaker. You are an elder, and you can speak on behalf of the people of Siakago, on behalf of the people of Embu, on behalf of the entire Mount Kenya region, and even for this country, Honorable Speaker, besides being a Speaker of the National Assembly. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker. The honor that you have been given by the Ayembu people, the Ameru people, Honorable Speaker, is good. But I want to beseech you. It is a small group of elders that have bestowed you with that respect to speak on behalf of the people. Honorable Speaker, those elders are representatives of people on the ground. I want to beseech you to become a spokesman of the people, a spokesman of the Hustler Nation people. Speak on behalf of the people, Honorable Speaker. Speak on behalf of those who have no voice. Speak on behalf of those who have no opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, you speak on behalf of those who have no voice to attend the Council of Elders meetings. Speak on behalf of those who are not able to attend this House. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, now I want to congratulate you and ask you, Honorable Speaker, that be firm, stand for the Hustler Nation.
Now, I think we need to have taken note of what was said by the member for Kisumu West. Let's make it brief. Honorable Fatuma Gendi.
Mr. Speaker, to close. I want to, so that we move from the politics, Mr. Speaker, to the reality. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you, because you deserve that role, Mr. Speaker. As a first-timer, I've learned a lot from you. Humility, you're a humble person. You are indeed a judge. When we have Tanga in Kieleweke, you have been firm. and you have been fair to us. And that is the leadership we want. And Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that you are the one person that will going to unite this country. And Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to urge my colleagues, let's not politicize and insult each other. We need each other, and that is what you've taught us. If indeed we are good students, we shall learn from you the humility and the way you've been carrying your role as a speaker in this House, uniting members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. And again, yesterday being the International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker, as women of this country, and you now coming from Mount Kenya, we want also you to hold one of our own and put her in that table. And none other than Her Excellency Governor Anne Waiguru. That is the leader we have as women. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And take her to the enduring jackets, Mr. Speaker, for...
Well, Honorable Wanga, but honorable members, surely, we need to go to do business now.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, this is very important business. Congratulating you, Honorable Speaker, is very, very important business for the House. So, Honorable Speaker, because of your leadership that you have provided us, Honorable Speaker, you had a very, very difficult parliament in the last parliament. And that was where it was make or break. But you showed tolerance, you showed patience, you showed non-partisanship on many occasions. Even after we had many things and many people said, leave these ones out, you said this House is a house for all members. So, Honorable Speaker, what the Njuri have seen is a person who has grown. You have grown from serving in the judiciary for over 15 years. You have gone to Chicago. You have served them for 10 years. You served here as whip in the opposition. You served as chairman of the Public Investments Committee. You came and you have served as the Speaker of this House. You served as the chairman of the CMD. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if there's anyone with more experience, especially in the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, if there's anybody with huge amounts of experience, it is yourself. So, Honorable Speaker, your coronation and your installation is well deserved. So for that, we all rise to congratulate you from all angles and from every space that we look. Honorable Speaker, I served with you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. You are a man of integrity. And even at times when people expected that you do something out of this world, you always stood by your word and you put your foot down. So, Honorable Speaker, congratulations. Honorable Speaker, on the other matters that have been raised, I am a seasoned member of this House. You have made a ruling. I will hold on to that, and I will let your ruling on the matter prevail, Honorable Speaker, because you lead us and we follow in your leadership. However much I feel pressed to say something, I will hold myself back in honor of this House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanga, for maintaining that. Member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to...
When I heard about it, I never knew about it before, Honorable Speaker. And because I have no ill faith against anybody and any member of this House, Honorable Speaker, I appreciated that the people of Meru and the elders in Meru have seen something in you and decided to bestow you. And I know a week before, the elders from Embu had done the same. And I pray that the elders from the larger Mount Kenya region, the Kiama, will also do the same to you, Honorable Speaker, and will appreciate. Honorable Speaker, the only thing I would ask of all of us is to respect each other. I was rather taken aback, Honorable Speaker, when I saw one of the nominated members who ought to be an elder in our community, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know if the chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Honorable Commander, is here. Say some very disparaging things against you, not just in your position now as a spokesman of a region, but also as Speaker of this House, Honorable Speaker. The member for Ntonyiri, is it Igembe North, the Honorable Maoka Maore, said also very unpalatable things about you in a TV station, Honorable Speaker. And this is a behavior that we must condemn as a House, Mr. Speaker. We must respect you. Honorable Speaker, I am saying we must respect you as first, as our leader in this House. Two, as a statesman who has served this country, even as a member of parliament, not seated where you are seated today, Honorable Speaker, but also sitting here representing the people of Chicago, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to ask all these members. I know Honorable Maoka Maore may take offense that he was not invited. And he said things that you are invited to a public rally. It was not a public rally. I know in our community, in the Meru community, in the Ayembu community, in the Ageko community, our Kiamas, our council of elders are not political affairs, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, nobody should say that you are invited to address a political rally in Meru. I am sure if you wanted to address a political rally, you have the wherewithal to even mobilize more members of public to attend a political rally than some of these people who are calling you. No wonder some of them are representing, I don't know what interest in this House, nominated to represent a known interest, Honorable Speaker. And they have the audacity to disrespect you. I want to take this opportunity to condemn them with the strongest words possible, Honorable Speaker. They must be ashamed of their... Honorable Speaker, it is indeed shameful, but I want to congratulate you and ask you, as a Speaker, Honorable Speaker, sir, as an elder in this country, because you're of age to be an elder, Mr. Speaker. I know your children. Some of your children are as old as I am, and some older than me, Honorable Speaker. You are an elder, and you can speak on behalf of the people of Chicago, on behalf of the people of Embu, on behalf of the entire Mount Kenya region, and even for this country, Honorable Speaker, besides being a Speaker of the National Assembly. I want to beseech you, Mr. Speaker. The honor that you have been given by the Ayembu people, the Ameru people, Honorable Speaker, is good. But I want to beseech you. It is a small group of elders that have bestowed you with that respect to speak on behalf of the people. Honorable Speaker, those elders are representatives of people on the ground. I want to beseech you to become a spokesman of the people, a spokesman of the Hustler Nation people. Speak on behalf of the people, Honorable Speaker. Speak on behalf of those who have no voice. Speak on behalf of those who have no opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, you speak on behalf of those who have no voice to attend the Council of Elders meetings. Speak on behalf of those who are not able to attend this House. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, now I want to congratulate you and ask you, Honorable Speaker, that be firm, stand for the Hustler Nation.
Now, I think we need to have taken note of what was said by the member for Kisumu West. Let's make it brief. Honorable Fatuma Gendi.
Mr. Speaker, to close. I want to, so that we move from the politics, Mr. Speaker, to the reality. I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you, because you deserve that role, Mr. Speaker. As a first-timer, I've learned a lot from you. Humility, you're a humble person. You are indeed a judge. When we have Tanga in Kieleweke, you have been firm and you have been fair to us. And that is the leadership we want. And Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that you are the one person that will going to unite this country. And Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to urge my colleagues, let's not politicize and insult each other. We need each other, and that is what you've taught us. If indeed we are good students, we shall learn from you. The humility and the way you've been carrying your role as a speaker in this House, uniting members of parliament. Mr. Speaker, once again, I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart that, and again, yesterday being the International Women's Day, Mr. Speaker, as women of this country, and you now coming from Mount Kenya, we want also you to hold one of our own and put her in that table. And none other than Her Excellency Governor Anne Waiguru. That is the leader we have as women. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. And take her to the enduring jackets, Mr. Speaker, for...
Well, Honorable Wanga, but honorable members, surely, we need to go to do business now.
Speaker, Honorable Speaker, this is very important business. Congratulating you, Honorable Speaker, is very, very important business for the House. So, Honorable Speaker, because of your leadership that you have provided us, Honorable Speaker, you had a very, very difficult parliament in the last parliament. And that was where it was make or break. But you showed tolerance, you showed patience, you showed non-partisanship on many occasions, even after we had many things and many people said, leave these ones out. You said this House is a house for all members. So, Honorable Speaker, what the Njuricheke have seen is a person who has grown. You have grown from serving in the judiciary for over 15 years. You have gone to Chicago. You have served them for 10 years. You served here as whip in the opposition. You served as chairman of the Public Investments Committee. You came and you have served as the Speaker of this House. You served as the chairman of the CMD. Surely, Honorable Speaker, if there's anyone with more experience, especially in the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, if there's anybody with huge amounts of experience, it is yourself. So, Honorable Speaker, your coronation and your installation is well deserved. So for that, we all rise to congratulate you from all angles and from every space that we look. Honorable Speaker, I served with you in the Parliamentary Service Commission. You are a man of integrity. And even at times when people expected that you do something out of this world, you always stood by your word and you put your foot down. So, Honorable Speaker, congratulations. Honorable Speaker, on the other matters that have been raised, I am a seasoned member of this House. You have made a ruling. I will hold on to that, and I will let your ruling on the matter prevail, Honorable Speaker, because you lead us and we follow in your leadership. However much I feel pressed to say something, I will hold myself back in honor of this House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wanga, for maintaining that. Member for Tigania West. Shukran. Now, honourable members, I appreciate, but can we close? Can we let's hear the member for Saboti, Honourable Caleb Amisi. Is that all? Can we take 1 minute so that we can? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I equally join my colleagues in expressing my profound praise for your recent coronation. On my behalf, on the behalf of the people of Saboti, and indeed on behalf of the young people of this country that we represent here, I think nobody has represented the young people. I also stand to praise you on behalf of the young people of this country for a successful event. Mr. Speaker, the event of coronation of Njuri is very peculiar. In fact, when I was observing it, I tend to think that this country is not mature for democracy. Because you look at such events could have given us better leaders than the democracy we suffocate this country to. And indeed, it is actually the democracy that has fires up tribalism. If events like this could be used to produce leaders, to sit at the helm of this country, I think it will be a very peaceful country, because you compare the events of the Njuri-Njeke, Mr. Speaker, you will not see chaos, you will not see violence. There is no even police present, no 2 million was stolen, no IBC clerk was chased away. The event was so peaceful. There was no cacophony of tribalism. There was absolutely nobody was arrested, no tear gas. And you can see the people's representatives are all in praise. There is no petition against you. So these are some of the events that actually can be used to give us leaders, instead of taking this country into democratic process. And the democracy has not always provided the best leaders. Good leaders like you, if subjected to democracy, you don't make it. So these are some of the events that we should maybe going forward. I don't think our country was mature for democracy. These are events that should be used to give us leaders in the meantime, as we slowly mature democratically. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Mbeere South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me add my voice also to congratulate you for your recognition by the Council of Elders of Njuri-Njeke at Ijiro. Honorable Speaker, what the members do not know is that long before you went to Jiro, in the shadows of Mount Kiangombe, in Kanywambora, the Council of Elders of Bere, known as Gome, had already met and decided that our son is now mature, is now ready to move out and face the world. And they give them, they give you their blessings. Mr. Speaker, so I stand here as a Mubere, very proud, and I know this afternoon all Beres are very proud to see you being recognized way beyond the boundaries of Bere. And Mr. Speaker, I have watched this house, and we've received accolades from literally everybody, both sides of the divide. People who do not agree, today they have agreed that surely your leadership has been recognized. I fear, Mr. Speaker, that moving forward, that there will be many factions that will be approaching you. And I've heard the honorable member for Honorable Kamket already inviting you to some grouping. But Mr. Speaker, we are not giving you accolades because you are in some grouping. Some grouping. But Mr. Speaker, we are not giving you accolades because you are in some grouping. We are giving accolades because you refused to be in the groupings and became neutral and became the speaker of all. When we disagree, we come to you. So I hope and I pray, Mr. Speaker, that moving forward, as Kenyans are watching, Mr. Speaker, the reaction that we're seeing from this House is the reactions of Kenya. They are watching. They are feeling what you're feeling. They have watched throughout your tenure as a speaker, and they know they can trust you. My prayer is that, Mr. Speaker, that you not fall into a trap of going to some partisan groupings and then joining our fights. I hope you stand as a true elder and be the arbitrator in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, Kenya is very apprehensive right now as we speak. They are not sure where us as leaders we are leading them to. They are wondering what will come of next year, 2022. It is only a character than yours that can calm the nerves, that can give people hope. And I pray and I hope that, Mr. Speaker, moving forward, now that you've been blessed by the Mberes, you've been blessed by your people of Embu, you have been blessed by Mount Kenya East, that wave will continue all the way to Turkana and to the coast. And that finally, Kenya will find somebody that they can rally around. With those few words, I congratulate you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Member for Kitui Central. Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also join colleagues in saying congratulations to you. Honorable Speaker, we have a lot of people who can say congratulations on their behalf. We start with the Kitui Central people. Honorable Speaker, all our members are aware that Africa Region, CPA, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, you're already the president. So even people out there have already confirmed that you are up to that level. And we just want to say, Honorable Speaker, this honor is a great honor to you, and also a great honor to us who are in this parliament, because you are one of us. Honorable Speaker, I'm sure we are all looking forward to you, and I'm sure in this country, as we are talking today, no other leader would get the kind of congratulations we are getting from all corners of this country. If it was another leader, you hear this region saying no, another region saying, and it was very clear when some of us started going to those small groupings. You could hear people shouting, saying that even the leader you are saying is the leader is not getting the kind of support you are getting in this house. And this is because of your experience, Honorable Speaker. And I only want to encourage, Honorable Speaker, those new members of parliament who joined this parliament, and I think this was said by other members, that when they go down there to other people's constituencies, Honorable Speaker, you know, Honorable Speaker, it's very wrong you come to Kitui Central, and you know I'm the leader there, and you start pretending there is no leader elected, and you are elected from somewhere else. So even as we go around, honorable members, it's important that when you get to your colleagues' constituency, please, respect the fact that he's elected. He can't be the member of parliament there if he was not elected like you. But not the problem, Honorable Speaker. Some of these honorable members come to your constituency and they want to behave as if you never went through the process of being voted for. So, Honorable Speaker, I really want to say congratulations to you, and I know you, and I wish you well, and I'm sure us who are in the family of CPA, we are wishing you well, and look forward to one day, you know, that being the president of Africa, CPA Executive Committee, you'll be the president of Kenya. Thank you very much. Oh gosh. A minute, please. I'm looking at the interventions, and there are so many members. I think member for Bomachoge Borabu. The one that appears on top.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance also to join my colleagues. Congratulate you for getting that high. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that it takes many factors for someone to be identified as a leader in every aspect of his life. I want to begin by congratulating the elders who gave you, who installed you into the new position. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that if I had also the opportunity to be in that team, I would have also put my weight behind you. Having been in this house for more than 3 years now, Mr. Speaker, I want to confidently say that you deserve that new role. Mr. Speaker, it takes a lot of courage here to be able to mix this kind of house, to produce a new product, either in a form of a legislation or reaching a consensus for that matter. I want to believe that the elders have made a new mark in your life. I want to believe that they have given you a new blessing in your life. I want to believe that I've listened to this house and their voices also point to that direction. So, Speaker, I want to congratulate you and pray that God can give you the vision that this country needs through your guidance. That you continue to serve this country diligently, without discrimination, without fear or favor. May God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on behalf of people of Bomachoge Borabu, I want to assume that a new chapter will shine in your life. May God bless you.
Thank you. Member for Nandi.
Honorable Speaker, I want to join the other members in congratulating you. I want to say the following. You are neutral and candid in your leadership. You are full of wisdom. You are charismatic, you are a father figure, and you are a voice of reason. May God bless you. May God use you in your new leadership. May He open doors where no man can shut in Jesus' name.
Member for Kiharu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I rise also to congratulate you following the coronation. And Mr. Speaker, many members may not know that Kiharu constituency is home to the origin of Gikuyu and Mobi, a place called Mukuru and Nyagadanga. And Mr. Speaker, therefore, by inference, I can therefore say that I am a member of parliament for the Kikuyu community, Mr. Speaker. And having said that, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate you following the coronation. And Mr. Speaker, even in the pecking orders in this country, currently you are number 3. From Mr. President to the Deputy President, and Mr. Speaker, the other most powerful person in terms of the pecking order is none other than Honorable J.B. Muturi. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, what the elders did, Mr. Speaker, is very commendable. Mr. Speaker, you are very astute, and I can say that as a young politician and as a young person, I actually look up to you, Mr. Speaker. I have studied your history, I have seen the journey you've traveled, and Mr. Speaker, it is enviable. Mr. Speaker, I may not be the right person to advise you, but I have to say that humanity, and even us as politicians, we are progressive, Mr. Speaker. We are not static. Mr. Speaker, we always look forward to the progress. And Mr. Speaker, now that you have been coronated, Mr. Speaker, you cannot afford now to rest. You have to aim higher. And there are only 2 other positions remaining, Mr. Speaker, in terms of even the pecking orders. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, now that you are the spokesperson of the entire region, and Mr. Speaker, now you are the Speaker of the National Assembly, you can only go higher to either the Deputy President or the President himself. And having studied your history, Mr. Speaker, I can tell that you've come from very far. You've come from very far and risen to the position that you occupy. And Mr. Speaker, I am sure you know the hassles of the ordinary Kenyans, and you understand the problems of the ordinary Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am sure even as you look around, and even when you go to Embu over the weekend, Mr. Speaker, I am sure you can tell where the region and the country is facing. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, my advice also as a politician, albeit young, is that follow the people, join where they are, and I can see you that you have the abilities and you have what it takes to be even the Deputy President of Kenya from 2022, and of course when you follow where the people are. And I am sure, without clarifying, because you go to Ebu more often than not, I am sure you already know where the people of the region are. Mr. Speaker, also, I have to say that this was a wake-up call to all of us, that this country, the way the fabric of our nation is, that we are now running away from the politics of big names, because, Mr. Speaker, having studied even your family, I am sure you are the only person, or you are the first person, to rise to the position that you occupy. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I know for sure that you are not resting where you are looking forward, and we are with you, and I congratulate you, Mr. Speaker. But the point I had, Mr. Speaker, is that this country, because we are moving away from big names and big families, Mr. Speaker, and now going to meritocracy. When you look and evaluate the merit of the leaders we have and the caliber of leaders we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, when you evaluate them on the basis of merit, Mr. Speaker, I am sure you are ahead of the pack. And I want to also request, because in our region, Mr. Speaker, and we have to say plainly that we now have an outgoing president from our region. And Mr. Speaker, I am sure our president, as he moves to other phase of his life, Mr. Speaker, we also need a person of your caliber, a person evaluated on the basis of merit, and a person who actually understands the problems and the issues of our region. And Mr. Speaker, looking around in terms of merit, putting you on the scale comparatively with all the other people who are looking to the kind of position that you occupy, Mr. Speaker, there is no one who can even come close to where you are. As my mentor, as our speaker, and as our leader, I am proud of you. Congratulations, Mr. Speaker, J.B. Muturi, the spokesperson of the Mount Kenya region.
Now, honourable members, is it not possible we can, I appreciate, honourable members, but I'm just, I can see there are quite, you know, we still have a lot of other requests, but now I'm being told wamama wako hapa. That's here now. Then the wamama. Nairobi. Honorable Mushomba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the elder who is now the bestowed the honor to be the elder of Njorinjeke, the men that have the elderly respect from the community from the Mount Kenya region. As a woman leader, I must say, this did not just come as a mistake. The elders must have sat down, they must have evaluated and re-evaluated you from when you started being in the public limelight to where you are today. Mr. Speaker, we are used to negative news covering members of parliament over the weekends. On our screens, we see members of parliament chasing each other in funerals, in burials. We see negative news concerning members of parliament wanting to be the first ones to be vaccinated about COVID, which is not true, and such like negative news. But you gave us the best piece of news over the weekend. We saw you walk in honor and pride, representing the great men of Mount Kenya in that event. No heckling, no stone throwing, no police in sight. A well-managed, calm event you held. That tells us who you are. It tells us you are a sober leader, a contained leader, a man of respect. The only thing, Mr. Speaker, is that I looked around and I didn't see women of the Mount Kenya in the event. So I'm hoping that, Mr. Speaker, soon you're going to collect yourself and host the women readers, the Nyakenyuas, so that we can bring you the blessed porridge, so that you can now ably represent the great people of Mount Kenya. And when I say Mount Kenya, it's not only Mount Kenya East, because I've heard some members say Mount Kenya East. We are talking about Mount Kenya because you are the son of the mountain. Well done, Mr. Speaker. You are now the elder, the very great elder that will bring soberness in the Kenyan political topography and Kenyan political arena. How I look forward for the day we shall hold by elections without the fracas that we saw over the weekend. Mr. Speaker, as a leader, I felt quite pain when I saw a woman being frog-marched by men in the name of an IEBC officer. It doesn't matter what side of a divide you stand for when it comes to politics, but we should respect humanity. We cannot allow to be seeing such kind of scenarios when the police are watching. Where were the police when the woman was being frog-marched by people? It doesn't matter what she was carrying. There are court of laws in this country where such a woman, if she was on the wrong, should be taken. But we cannot stand and watch that kind of a scenario in our political arena. So, Mr. Speaker, we look up to you. We see you as a man of very little words, but serious impact when it means to creating soberness in the event of such nature. We look forward to seeing you move forward. And just to let you know, Mr. Speaker, I always love this phrase that says, victory is always possible for the person who refused to stop the fight. Don't stop the fight. Stand there. We look up to you. You are our mentor, and we are with you. Thank you, and congratulations, Mr. Speaker.
So honourable members, now what do I do? Because now I can see it. The International Women's Day, Honorable Millie, was yesterday, wasn't it? Member for Pokot South.
We can transfer to today's.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for giving me this chance to join my colleagues in appreciating what the nature did to you, Honorable Speaker. I call it nature. Because, Honorable Speaker, communities have their own way of appreciating their sons. Even for us in Pokot and the entire world, even Europeans and whites, or Chinese or Indians, they have a way, Honorable Speaker, of appreciating their sons. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, allow me to join my colleagues in appreciating nature that was done to you. Honorable Speaker, you deserve it. You know you deserve it, Honorable Speaker. And that's not even the debate. Because, Honorable Speaker, some of us who are lucky to be here second time, last parliament here, we were here, Honorable Speaker, in 11th parliament, and God has blessed us with our people to come back. Honorable Speaker, for us who are there in that last parliament, that is when Honorable Justin or J.B. Muturi actually came out. Your leadership, Honorable Speaker, came out in last parliament. It might be easy to be honest. This 12th parliament might have been very easy for you. It's true. Maybe it was held by handshake or something. Maybe something natural happened that this parliament, Honorable Speaker, is easy to manage. Last parliament was so difficult, Honorable Speaker. But even with those difficulties, you produced results that were required to be done for the people of Kenya. I want to tell you this, the truth, Honorable Speaker. You stood your ground. You managed that kind of division that was in this country in the 11th parliament. And everybody liked you. Whether they are on the other side or this side, everybody liked you, Honorable Speaker. And that is why even the people at home like also you, Honorable Speaker. So it's natural. And we agree, Honorable Speaker. You have even extended that assistance of yours, not only in Mount Kenya, even in Pokot, Honorable Speaker. I want to attest that if you are to come today to Pokot, we'll also make you an elder. Not only my colleague, Honorable Kamket, which I will say in a minute. Honorable Kamket cannot be an elder, Honorable Speaker, when I'm here. No, he can't be. But before that, Honorable Speaker, you are a person with heart to extend all over the country. You have been to Pokot, where even people maybe in Chicago don't even know where is Pokot. I want to tell them, Honorable Speaker, you came and helped our people. And our people, even when they're hearing, it was going to be wrong, Honorable Speaker, if I don't speak. Because outside the entire place you have been in remote places, which is border to Uganda, which is our home, Honorable Speaker. And therefore you deserve them. You deserve it, Honorable Speaker. And we wish you well. And when things like that happen, you know, it doesn't happen for nothing. It happens for a reason. God knows something that is coming, will be pushing you towards where Kenyans want you to go, Honorable Speaker. So, what I will only add as a human being is to take that honor with a lot of humility, Honorable Speaker. And the sky will be the limit. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, you know, my community was mentioned adversely that my friend, Honorable Kamket, was installed spokesman of the Pokot Nation. Of course, that cannot happen. You know, Honorable Speaker, it cannot happen like that. It cannot happen like that. You know, Honorable Speaker, for somebody to be installed like you, how many years did it take you to be there? You are a judge. You were elected in Parliament. You became chair of PIC. You became chair of parliamentary caucuses. You became CMD. You became speaker. Not only once, twice, Honorable Speaker. My colleague, my friend, my mono, Honorable Kamkid. There's never been anything, Honorable Speaker. So how can he claim to be installed? Honorable Speaker, you know what I'm referred to. I don't want to say it, dear Honorable Speaker. And you know the people who refer me. But I'm humble, Honorable Speaker. But I don't claim and just stand on top of roofs and speak the way. I'll tell you, the Speaker, leadership is earned. And my colleague, Honorable Kamkid, in Parliament, for example, if we were to give eldership in Parliament as Pokot people, we would have given Honorable Moroto because he's having his fourth time. I am the second, Honorable Speaker. How can a mono talk when I'm around? Where? That's why he has gone, Honorable Speaker, because he knows I was going to speak. And he got some few people who we called elders, maybe somewhere in Tiati. Tiati, Honorable Speaker, is one constituency in Baringo County. So if you are to become a spokesman, you are a spokesman of one constituency. West Pokot County is more than that, four constituencies. That is where the original spokesman should come from, Honorable Speaker, not my colleague. But anyway, I wish him well. It's good to be ambitious. But I'll advise him, Honorable Speaker, this afternoon to come to your office tomorrow so that you can guide him on how to become a real elder, how to become a trusted elder. And it comes slowly. It's not, how old is Kamkate? And it needs to be 70 years. In Pokot, when you are 70 years, is when you become a spokesman. Not less than that. Maybe a spokesman of some people who are going to be circumcised, but not a spokesman of a community like you have been bestowed, Honorable Speaker. You are the right, even if it was going to be in Pokot. You will be actually the spokesman even in Pokot. Not small people who are monos, who have not even finished first term. Let him first of all finish first term. He comes to you and us, then we learn. But Honorable Speaker, I thank you. And God will bless you, Honorable Speaker. You are going far. You are going far, my brother. Humble yourself before God, and God will bestow you what you don't know. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Nambale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me add my voice. Let me add my voice to those who have wished you well in your new appointment. I think it will be a challenging appointment. You will use soft power. You're not going to use the power of the law or the power of our standing orders. You're going to go deep into traditional and past find examples. But I am sure that you're going to use a part of your brain that's not what you've been using, either on the bench or in this house. And that part is going to be very useful in the next segment of this parliament, where we are going, where I think that contention is going to be the order of the day, grandstanding is going to be the order of the day, and truth sometimes will be lost in between. Now, with that appointment, you have, I think, to marshal all those faculties, bring them together, and I think they are certainly going to be extremely timely where we are headed. And I'm sure that you're up to the task, so I really wish you well in that discharge. The second thing, to be quite brief, I want to add my voice of congratulations to Honorable Kalasinga for being a member of Parliament of this National Assembly. I'll say the other bit when that next member of Parliament comes. I think this has been a momentous weekend, but I would like to urge my fellow colleagues that the fault is not only a fault when you see others, see yourself. We are part of the problem of violence in elections. So I think that we ought to be honest with ourselves. We ought to set a standard devoid of what we want to think. We are thinking inside, and let's hope that that standard, objective enough, can be followed, including by all of us. With those few remarks, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Turkana.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The great people of Turkana County cannot be left behind in celebrating this extraordinary, inordinate achievement. I wish to congratulate you on this. Honorable Speaker, my colleagues have really poured a lot of accolades, and I don't want to repeat that. But what really mesmerizes and fascinates me about you is your mastery of the law, both Kenyan and international, your neutrality, objectivity, and impartiality in handling political issues, and even here in the House, and most importantly, your humility. Some of us are following in your footsteps in learning some of these values. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Honorable Guna. Give him this one.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, elders have spoken. People have spoken through their representative in the National Assembly. God has spoken. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of myself, the people of Mwingi West, and my family, let me take this opportunity to say congratulations to you. When I met you the first time, you spoke me in Kamba, and I was really moved, Mr. Speaker. I saw a person with great sense of humility, great sense of leadership. Mr. Speaker, I am only wishing 2022, which is a political year, God will reward you. And if so, I would wish you to even climb from position 3 to 1 or 2. Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking this from my heart. Thank you so much. You have shown to this nation you can rise beyond tribes. You can transcend beyond regions. Mr. Speaker, you have demonstrated that. And on behalf of people of Mwingi West, which are your neighbor, I say congratulations. God bless you. And God see you through this promotion you've really been given by the elders. Thank you.
Member for Dagoretti South.
Mr. Speaker, we celebrate you. And I do stand to thank you for taking up the position that was bestowed to you by the very esteemed Njuri Ncheke over the weekend, Mr. Speaker. It is great to note that a man from a very dusty village somewhere in Embu can actually rise to the position that you have risen to in your life, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a story that gives hope to very many young people who begin from nowhere, Mr. Speaker. I know your story. I know about you going to school without shoes, Mr. Speaker, as a young boy. I know your ambition, Mr. Speaker, that saw you rising to become one of the finest legal minds in your time, Mr. Speaker. You had the opportunity to serve this country as a very good judicial officer, a magistrate and a judge, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity to witness as a young man how you ran campaigns and ran and won a seat to come to this house, Mr. Speaker, and how well you served your people as a member of parliament. Mr. Speaker, in your downtime, when you left this house, I had the opportunity of being under your chairmanship at the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, Mr. Speaker, where you encouraged us as very young members of political parties back then to take up the mantle and take up the mission of changing this country, Mr. Speaker. It was under your watch, Mr. Speaker, that we were able to form the Inter-Party Youth Leaders Forum, the first of its kind. It was bipartisan, Mr. Speaker. I was the president of the Orange Democratic Movement Youth League then, Mr. Speaker. And you would say to me that PNU only differs with ODM on ideology, but we are all Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. And we celebrate that you are able to bring young people together under the forum of the IPYLF, some of who are now serving as members of parliament here today because of your able leadership at CMD, Mr. Speaker. Your performance in this house, Mr. Speaker, has been stellar. You're one of the people that can be celebrated to be a peacemaker in this country, Mr. Speaker. And these are the things that the Njuri Ncheke must have seen when they were picking an individual of your caliber to be decorated as the one and single spokesman of the region, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at a time like this country needs tolerance. It is intolerance that leads to the violence that we witnessed last week, Mr. Speaker. I, having previously been a victim of election violence, I know how we operate in this country. That when there is an election or a by-election in this country, Mr. Speaker, we suspend all laws. We even suspend the Constitution to the extent that political violence is no longer seen as violence, Mr. Speaker. You have also been a victim of political violence, Mr. Speaker. While presiding over a session of this parliament, Mr. Speaker, and I know the Honorable Moses Kuria can bear me witness because he was present in that session, you are a victim of political violence, Mr. Speaker. But your tolerance, Mr. Speaker, I believe is what has made you rise above the fray to become the leader that you have become, Mr. Speaker. I believe in the theory of political science that talks about the horseshoe theory, Mr. Speaker, that people from opposing sides might end up meeting because they are not people from two extreme sides of the median, but they are in fact people who have an interest that can converge at a place, Mr. Speaker. And you are one of those people who walk on the middle of the road and are bipartisan, and I do believe that that is why the Njuri Ncheke were able to identify you as one exemplary leader in this country, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to say, Mr. Speaker, that what we witnessed over the weekend was a lesson to those of us who are in politics, Mr. Speaker, that organic leadership in this country can actually work better at times than even democracy, Mr. Speaker. Organic leadership is not bought. It calls for persuasion. It calls for consensus. Organic leadership does not go for coercion, does not go for violence. So, Mr. Speaker, when we observed that very beautiful event over the weekend, we are people who took out something that we can apply in our politics, even as we go back to the constituencies, Mr. Speaker. That a rally can be held peacefully. That a rally does not need to be interrupted by police, Mr. Speaker. That administration officers have no business whatsoever meddling in politics, as we saw last week, Mr. Speaker, as we were conducting the by-elections, Mr. Speaker. That politics can actually be done to achieve a consensus, even of two opposing points, Mr. Speaker. But my reason for rising, Mr. Speaker, was to congratulate you and thank you for the amazing leadership that you have given in this House and the hope that you have given to the future of this country, up to and including that young boy in Embu today, who is what you were many decades ago, who saw what happened in Meru and believes that even to them, one day, they can be decorated as you were decorated by the Churincheke. You gave hope to the hustler nation of this country, Mr. Speaker, in your coronation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yusuf Halima.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me join my colleagues in congratulating you for your coronation over the weekend at the Njorincheke grounds in Meru County. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, and as a woman, I'm very lucky because the late Mwiraria happened to have introduced me to what they call Njori, Nyombachi Anjuri, Njori houses. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I know the seriousness in which our community takes your coronation. Your installation was very timely, Honorable Speaker, and I have talked to several elders, and most of them are very confident. They had really vetted you, Honorable Speaker, and they are sure that you're the right person for the position. Another thing, Honorable Speaker, it is time that our senior brothers, that is the entire Mount Kenya, our senior elders, elder brothers, we have supported them for years. Therefore, it is time they also supported us from the Mount Kenya East, so that when there is another position, the next position should come to us, and that is through you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, and as I have spoken to several elders in Meru, I know that they are very confident of you because they ask us about you, and we are happy that, like I say, you are a very humorous person, you are respectable, and you are likable also, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy because I know there are other leaders who would have taken this position. But among them all, Honorable Speaker, the elders decided, they sat down, they looked at them, and it was decided that it is you. You fit the position, we are happy, and we will support you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Member for Uriri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was away earlier, and I said on such a day I would not miss. Mr. Speaker, speaking as a first-timer, I remember the first time when we met, when I came to your office, one of the things you told me is that fidelity to your political party is a very critical thing. And you told me of your history in KANU, including the days when the Rainbow Coalition was sweeping across the country. And I remember you telling me when Raila came with his entourage, with loud music, you ran and almost hid in the farm behind your house because it was such a big thing. You also did tell me, Mr. Speaker, that political positions are temporary, that at some point you will lose them, but never be too worried if you have been a good person and doing your actual work, and that even when you lose, probably a bigger door opens. And Mr. Speaker, we saw that when you lost, you eventually became a speaker of this House.
There's a point of order, Honorable Nyamita.
The Honorable Nyamita is speaking a good thing, Speaker, but let him just wear this mask. Let us be obedient to this mask. This disease is dangerous. Please, let's protect each other.
Yeah, I think the point by the Honorable Omulele is a valid one, Honorable Nyamita. It's only that, Honorable members, you see, we do not keep publicizing what is happening. But from time to time, we do observe a few of your colleagues are not, have not been around for some time. We normally know where they are. So the point being made by the Honorable Omulele is a valid one.
Thank you, and I oblige Mr. Speaker, and I'm fully masked. And I want to tell Honorable Mulele that soon I'll be one of the people leading the rest of this House to take the jab. But back to my story, Mr. Speaker, you did say that when you lose a political position, do not be too worried if you're doing a good job, because something bigger and better possibly is coming. And when you lost your seat in Chicago, you ended up becoming the Speaker, and you're serving the Speaker for your second term. I was also a bit worried because, you know, I belonged to the other coalition that did not support you. But I remember you giving me the history between you and Honorable John Buddy, and how John Buddy had promised to vote for you in your second term until the last minute, and they came and he was at least honest with you, and he told you, I will not vote. And you told him you understand. And Mr. Speaker, I did then invite you to come and visit me in my constituency. Again, I was not sure that you would honor that invite. But you said, oh, okay, I have never been to Riri specifically, and though you served with one of the former members, Honorable Odhiambo Mamba, and you said you will try. And on the material day, I remember the weather was not very good. I was very worried. All the preparations had been done. You ended up arriving almost at 5, meaning you keep your word. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, you are the first sitting Speaker of this House to come to my constituency, and we don't take it for granted. You made history in my area. We did a fundraiser for a church with you, Mr. Speaker, and our people prayed for you. And I remember the prayer was that you were set for bigger things. I can see some of those prayers are already being answered, Mr. Speaker. I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that you are not only the first Speaker to come to my constituency, but this history will be that you will be the first Deputy President to also come and visit my constituency. And please allow me, it's my time, because I know the plans that Baba has for you. And I want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to wish you well. We will work with you, and may God bless you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Igembe South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join my fellow colleagues in congratulating you. On behalf of the people of Igembe South and Meru County in general, Mr. Speaker, you are a leader to be emulated. And for my people of Igembe South, Mr. Speaker, whenever I attend meetings within my constituency, they normally tend to advise me to be following your footsteps and what you have done, Mr. Speaker, in your earlier duties, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, last week on Saturday, it was just a beginning, Mr. Speaker, for your brighter future. So, Mr. Speaker, as my fellow colleagues has congratulated you, it means that all leaders, Mr. Speaker, have identified something which is very special in you, Mr. Speaker. And it is time, Mr. Speaker, to start exploiting, Mr. Speaker, that good thing which is in you, Mr. Speaker, even in the entire country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would be more happy, Mr. Speaker, if you go for that high post, Mr. Speaker, because now you are the third in command, Mr. Speaker. But come next year, Mr. Speaker, I pray that also you take a step ahead, Mr. Speaker, and ask for the number one of this country, Mr. Speaker. And we will be ready, Mr. Speaker, to support you because because your leadership, Mr. Speaker, has been tested and proven, Mr. Speaker, and that's why the elders from Meru, Mr. Speaker, identified you and decided, Mr. Speaker, to elevate you, Mr. Speaker, as the spokesperson, Mr. Speaker, of the Mount Kenya East, Mr. Speaker. Also, I pray that the entire mountain, Mr. Speaker, and the entire country, Mr. Speaker, should speak with one voice, Mr. Speaker, and endorse you, Mr. Speaker, for the presidency post, Mr. Speaker, come the year 2022. God bless you. God bless your desires, Mr. Speaker, as you aspire, Mr. Speaker, to move higher. Thank you.
Member for Westlands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to congratulate you for being given that mantle by the elders of your region, Mr. Speaker. I know the journey you have traveled. Mr. Speaker, one of your first stations you served as a magistrate is in my home county. And you know, even there, Mr. Speaker, as much as you are that young, you are already installed as an elder, which means they recognize and saw that leadership in you. And Mr. Speaker, even as I congratulate you, I also want to bring hearty congratulations from my father, who is your friend. He also said that he has seen his friend being installed, and he told me to come and say congratulations to you. Mr. Speaker, I wish you well. I pray for you, and I know you are destined for great things. Please keep going, and we will support you and will work with you, as we have done. I know the 11th Parliament was one of the most difficult parliament in this country, Mr. Speaker, but you steered through, you managed to balance. The hostility was there, you balanced between the opposition and the ruling party side, but you managed, Mr. Speaker, and that showed your great leadership skills. Mr. Speaker, I wish you well, and may God bless you. Thank you very much.
Finally, the Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was hoping I would actually be the last one to summarize. And I've been listening to the accolades and the messages that have been sent your way by colleagues, and I want to congratulate you. I know I would have wished to be there so that we could also celebrate, but some of these ceremonies take longer to sing. So I know we will still have the celebratory occasion with some water of some defined characteristics, where Honorable Sankok may not be welcome, and a few others. But it's a watershed in an elder's life. And I know we have been through some similar things in our own local situation. But it's a recognition by the elders of your leadership capacity. But more importantly, when you look at the Mount Kenya East region, it's actually one of the regions that since the loss of the anchor, the Angaines, and it's a region that has been left almost without some leadership. And this has led to, like all aspirants, assuming the people of Mount Kenya East don't have leadership, can't think on themselves, and everyone just taking advantage of them. So I think one of the things that this is showing is the people of Mount Kenya East have woken up and said, yes, in our days, we look to President Kibaki to hold the entire. We look to President Uhuru to hold the entire Gema nation. But as we move forward, Mount Kenya East feels like it's left behind, as Mount Kenya West sorts out its issues. And that recognition that they can see in you, that you can hold together those three huge counties and give them some sense of direction so that people stop taking advantage of that region. It's something that we all appreciate. And it will help guide people, even as we are going through the BBI process, so that people can see the wider benefits within a document rather than, the propaganda that they are being fed with. And I'm sure you'll be able to soberly guide that situation. Because there are some good elders in that region, the Ibuis, the Bishop, the Matthews, and they've really been trying. But they're also getting old. So it's really something that I'm very happy that happened and you were picked. And I could see the signs even when we were in Sagana. You could see people, beckoning and saying, why can't the speaker, come and help in galvanizing some of these issues? Because there's nothing as bad as a house divided. It can never stand. But now we will see unity, and it's something that will help even in galvanizing the rest of Kenya. So even as we are talking of building the bridges, as one is building a bridge between Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, there has to be anchor pillars, or where that bridge has to be anchored. Between Mount Kenya East or West and the Mlemenish, there has to be some pillars. And you provide that focal point for that. So I want to congratulate you for that, and look forward to this day when we shall now sit down as elders. I'm not sure whether Sankok will qualify. Initially as elders. Then we'll have the next ring is the invited aspiring elders. And we will sit with them and can now continue the celebration and, more importantly, the big role of unifying Kenya, starting at the family level, at the micro level, before we get to the wider macro level, and eventually into the place of Kenya within the region and the world. So I wish to, once again, join my colleagues and thank my colleagues for all the kind words that they have said. I also know that you're a great listener, and I know there is lots of advice you're being given, like we give during weddings. But eventually, I know you'll be able to sift. I know which one to take, which one not to take, and continue, because the wisdom of elders is listen and know what to absorb and what to take forward. And I'm sure it's been a good day, but the avalanche of goodwill messages that have been sent is an indication of how the members of this House value your leadership. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So I thought now surely, honourable members, I appreciate. Let's now do some business. What do you mean minorities? What? 1 minute each. Who is that one? Is that Honorable Zambia? Please, 1 minute, then we will have the Honorable Massimo Albele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I'll be very brief, joining my colleagues to congratulate you on behalf of the Kilome constituency residents and Lower Eastern. We really have a lot of hope in you as a country. And now that you have assumed a new role, you have a lot on the way to actually engage this country in terms of uniting the whole country and the people of Kenya. You remember you represent a house with 209 constituencies where all the members come from different destinations, and it is now clear that the role you are going to play in the next few years to come will be based on the hope the Kenyans have in you. Congratulations, and God bless you. Thank you.
Honorable Albele. Member for Lysamis.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
it is good for everybody to know their colleagues' constituencies as well.
Correct. Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on the behalf of the people of Lysamis, I want to join my colleagues in congratulating you for having been endorsed as a statesman and as a speaker for representing the Embu, Meru, and Tigania communities. Mr. Speaker, human beings in life, they aspire to become something, and eventually they actually go up the ladder to become somebody, to occupy a certain position, and so forth and so on. And therefore in you, Mr. Speaker, I've come to learn that one time in your life, you have been a judge. You have equally been a member of parliament. You have equally been a speaker, not once, twice. That actually translates that you are a man of your caliber. That indeed, having attained all those positions, therefore, the Njurin Cheke, these are elders of a stature who have sat down and seen around, having looked around and actually seen and settled on you that you will be the kingpin, that you will be the spokesman for this particular community. Mr. Speaker, the Mount Kenya region has been, throughout history, a very united community. Whether they come from Meru, whether they come from Tigania, whether they are Kikuyus, and so forth and so on, because they are being referred to as the gamers. Today, politically, we are seeing that some people are trying to make some crossroads into that territory, trying to break that unity. And I hope the elders who have actually settled on you have realized they want to have one voice from Mount Kenya. And indeed, for Kenya to be united, we are all looking at the mountain, including the Rendiles, the minority tribe in Kenya. The Rendiles, we are looking at the mountain. If the mountain gets to break into 2 or into 3, then Kenya is divided. Now that the Njurin Cheke have settled on you, that you are the spokesman, that you are the leader, you are supposed to show bravery of that position, that you need to win their confidence by showing leadership, the same leadership you have shown in the House here, by saying order, order, order. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, I am sure and I believe in you that you will be able to deliver, so that the House, which is almost splitting away, the Mount Kenya House, under your leadership, you will be able to bring everybody together. And if indeed it means taking some of us with you to Mount Kenya to show solidarity, because we represent the entire Kenya, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure you we will join you, so that at least we will be able to have, and actually your people can be able to see and witness that indeed you are not walking alone, but you are walking with the entire Kenya, the members of parliament. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I wish you all the best. I wish you good health. I wish you to, I will pray for you to have wisdom in order to see your vision come true. And anything is possible, Mr. Speaker. Having gone up the ladder this way, you can easily become even the president of Kenya. And I wish you all the best, that God helps you, you go up the helm. But having reached there, don't forget your friend, Honorable Marbele from Lysamis. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Now, honourable members, I think now we must go to the next order. But before we go to that next order, honourable members, I want to draw your attention to the existence of a supplementary order paper. I believe it has been uploaded. Because there are certain additions which might not have been there earlier. So next order.
Order number 8, the Narcotics, Drugs, and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill.
Facts that this bill was moved by the chair of the Committee on Administration and National Security, the Honorable Paul Koinange, seconded by the Honorable Peter Kaluma. Thereafter, the following members contributed: the Honorable Ali Raso. I'm saying this because some of you have placed your interventions. The Honorable Mohammed Ali, the Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, the Honorable Dr. Pukose, the Honorable Oku Kaunya, the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, the Honorable Owen Baya, the Honorable Janet Nagabo, the Honorable Garane Hire, the Honorable Fatuma Gedi, the Honorable Makali Mulu, the Honorable Anthony Kiai, who has a balance of 2 minutes. So Honorable Kiai, is he in the house? You know, maybe this is some information members need to know, that when you are told that you have a balance of time, it is advisable that you'll be in the chamber on the next sitting day. So the Honorable Kiai not being present in the house, is the next one who was speaking outside, who spoke outside the Hansant, but somehow was captured, is the Honorable Shakil, member for Kisumu East.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. Thank you for recognizing that I was to speak, but there was a little confusion. When a speaker, sir, the issue of narcotics bill is a very important issue. It is all over Africa, all over Kenya, and we are getting very concerned about it, even in my own constituency. Honorable Speaker, sir, I support fully the narcotics bill and the increase of the penalties for those who have been found in possession of narcotics. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the real crooks are the big boys. And the big boys, some of them have been members of parliament, some of them even have been governors, and especially in the coast. They have got away with it, and they have gone into different ideas. The problem that we have, I mean, there was the family of the Akasha family who seemed to get away with everything. Number of narcotics were even found with some of these people. They were taken to court. Some of them ran away to abroad. Some of them were even taken to the USA. The problem that we have in this country is the anti-narcotics police are part and parcel of the main police force. They're speaking in billions. There was a senior officer in the police who tried he was trying to take this issue of narcotics forward. He was even executed, or he was killed by his own. The Honorable Muhammad Ali, now a member of parliament, was able to expose the drug lords that we had on the coast. But for some reason, these drug lords get cover, and the small boys are the ones who are charged. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not cannabis that is the problem here. It's straightforward heroin. And our youth, especially in Mombasa, Kisumu, Nairobi, and other places, have lost their whole livelihood. They've lost their future by these drug lords. You know, in Mexico, there was El Chapo. In Colombia, there was somebody else. In Kenya, we've had the Al-Qashas and we have the others who have come and destroyed the future of our youth. The fact of the issue is that if you are saying to them that we're increasing the fine, these guys get away. They have advocates and they have lawyers in the highest of places, and they get away with it. I think, as much as I agree with the objects of the bill, that we should increase the fines, I think somewhere along the line, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have to now act, and we have to act decisively to make sure that those people who are benefiting from the heroin and the other strong narcotics are actually pinned down and taken to task. Unfortunately, in this country, they get away with it. So we do not want state capture like Colombia, state capture like Bolivia. We really wish that the police, their special arm of police should be put together. The anti-narcotics, they should be paid well. They should be looked after and made sure that they take action. Sometimes, as much as we are saying that everybody should be given a chance to protect themselves, but Mr. Speaker, sir, some of these drug lords encourage murder, encourage killing, encourage the breaking of society. And I think that as much as we are talking about the fact that somebody would charge so many million shillings, I do not think that will happen. All that will happen is the police force will be stymied. Those keen people, because there's billions of shillings involved, those people will get away with it. So, Mr. Chair, Honourable Speaker, sir, I urge this Parliament to improve and increase the Parliament, the power of the power of the Cabinet Secretary and others who are there to come and now attack the issue of narcotics. Mr. Speaker, sir, Kisumu, Kenya has become a transit for drugs coming from places like Afghanistan and other places, and we're a transit for those drugs now going to Europe and Americas. Yet, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening to those people who have made millions upon millions of shillings and got away with it. The money, I speak about the Akasha family, they made billions. There are some others as well. And there's others who are in power right now, who have started and got their millions through drug dealing. Now I think it's about these people to be mentioned, these people to be taken forward, and they to be dealt with in accordance with the law. But sometimes, Mr. Speaker, sometimes murderers who get away, drug dealers who get away, and spoil the life of so many people, we sometimes have to take shortcuts. And I'm urging that as much as we say that the lawyers should be blacklisted, especially those ones who go and these high-powered lawyers. High-powered lawyers, they go and protect these drug dealers. I think somewhere along the line we've got to say, there's somewhere along the line, the country must come first. The people must come first. So, Mr. Speaker, as much as I agree that these fines are increased, but there's no need to increase the fines if you're not going to catch the criminals. So we urge that this time the anti-narcotics police, their powers be increased, their salaries and remuneration be increased, and they be given special authority to move against drug dealers without falling too much in the so-called law, where they get frustrated and the drug dealers get away. With those few remarks, Speaker, sir, thank you very much. And I do support this particular amendment. I do, however, think it is not strong enough, and I wish it was much stronger. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Shabir, you have contributed very well, but I would just like to know if today somebody pointed a finger at you and made allegations that you are making whatever it is, and we denied you access to any lawyers, and we judged you, and we said we throw away the key. I don't know whether you would be happy with that. But I believe in this country, you know, this is the house of debate, and you have made your contribution. That is good enough. We shall now have contribution from the Honorable Washira Kabinga, member from where?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I arise to support this bill and congratulate the Chairman of Administration and National Security for providing real leadership in the coming up of this particular amendment, Honorable Speaker. And I can confirm as a member of that particular committee that we met several groups and people who enriched what was initially drafted, Mr. Speaker. Drug production, consumption, possession, and trafficking has increased and advanced in terms of handling and people developing mechanisms for evading arrests and also manipulating our law enforcement institutions, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, the existing law cannot handle the present day drug trafficking or production or handling and consumption, Mr. Speaker, because there are many loopholes and advancement that has come up from the time that particular law was put in place, Mr. Speaker. This bill is coming at the right time, Mr. Speaker, when the future of our country is getting doomed because our young generation, a large part of it is involved in drugs in one way or another, Mr. Speaker. And this is also now slowly creeping into the working class. And I'm hoping that here in this House, we do not have people who are victims, because sometimes we discuss and we tend to think that we could be having problems even here, Mr. Speaker. The problem of drug trafficking is everywhere. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, this bill comes in at the right time when we need to relook at our law to see how effective it is, because the other one, the existing one, Mr. Speaker, has a lot of loopholes. Among them, Mr. Speaker, is the lenient penalties that are given to people who are involved in drug trafficking, consumption, possession, or production, Mr. Speaker. And a number of them were never scared, even when they are arrested and taken to court, because the value of what they are handling vis-a-vis the sentences that they get was incomparable, Mr. Speaker. And furthermore, some of them have now developed ways of manipulating the institutions, Mr. Speaker, and that's why we find some of our drug traffickers in this country, when arrested in other countries, they are convicted because the laws in those other countries are much more stricter, much more tight than we do have. And therefore, this bill comes at the right time, Mr. Speaker. It is therefore important that we look at the penalties that we are putting on offenses that affect, or rather that are related to drug trafficking, production, or even consumption, Mr. Speaker. and ensure that people feel it when they are taken to court and when they are jailed, Mr. Speaker. I'm particularly happy that now, especially the drug traffickers and producers, will find themselves in prison for life. Will be able to pay penalties that are 3 times the value of what they are handling. And therefore, anybody who indulges in that business, Mr. Speaker, will be sure to one day be in prison for life. And I think that is really good, Mr. Speaker. One of the areas that the existing bill did not cover, Mr. Speaker, is on conspiracy. Mr. Speaker, conspiracy, whether it is within the country or people in our country conspiring with others outside, or even 2 groups of people outside this country conspiring to traffic drug in Kenya, will now find themselves on the other side of the law, because we'll be able now to have a law that can be extended those that conspire to traffic drug in this country. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, this law provides for a way of dealing with advancements in terms of communication, that our law enforcement institutions can now intercept communication that will lead to arrests, and such communication can now be admissible in a court of law, something that was not there. And this, again, will help a lot, because all of us are now using communication to evade arrest, Mr. Speaker. But now, with that admissibility of communication that has been intercepted, we are likely now to get more people arrested. At the same time, Honorable Speaker, our law enforcement officers are also greatly involved in some of these offenses. And the current law did not provide for the charging of those law enforcement officers. This law now, as amended, strengthens or brings up the element of now charging the law enforcement officers who are caught up in the link of drug trafficking and/or consumption, or even production, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this will be very good. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we believe that this bill will also be bringing in strongly is recognition of alternate forms of punishment, and especially when it comes to our youngsters who are slowly driven into this menace by people who want to make money out of them. This young generation, Honorable Speaker, need not be put in prison. This young generation needs to be put on rehabilitation. This young generation need to be put on probation, so that immediately they recover from the menace, Honorable Speaker, they can get back to school, so that we preserve the generation that we have today. Honorable Speaker, it is true that when some of these young men and women are put into prison because of taking things like bangi, we only add to their problems. They do not reform. They come out as more dangerous criminals than probably the way they went. And for that reason, some of us are proponents of this alternate way of punishing offenders, and especially bang itself, which in some countries, like Ethiopia, where consumption of bang is not an offense, but they do take offense if you are caught trafficking or transporting bang. Honorable Speaker, for us to be somewhere in the middle, I think is good. We consider the young generation, especially the young generation that is in school. Mr. Speaker, when I hear a pupil in Standard 7 or Standard 8 has been caught with a few laws of Bangi, I get worried about the generation. But if we have a way of rehabilitating these young men and women, then we can preserve our generation for tomorrow. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I fully support, and once again, congratulate our chairman for the leadership that he has provided on this particular important bill, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Honorable Gogo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me time to indulge in this matter. I rise to support. And I'm so glad that this particular matter has been brought by the committee. And even as the previous speaker was speaking, the honorable member was trying to take particular caution on the elements that deals with the collusion with traffickers. They normally say when you want to destroy a home, you introduce the young girls and boys in that family to either alcohol or hard drugs. And drugs have really destroyed homes and have destroyed brilliant brains in this country. And coming up with a law that mitigates the spread of use of drugs and getting stiff penalties on people who traffic drug and bring these drugs to our young men is a law that is timely and needs to be supported. So as I support this particular bill, then I want to appreciate the committee for coming up with also looking at the elements of the communication systems and channels that these traffickers use. And they use very sophisticated systems, but as a nation we need to go a notch higher and counter what they use to communicate, especially to bring down this the scourge of and the menace of drugs. So when it also comes to the element of rehabilitation, we should spread rehabilitation facilities.
Just hold on, the Honorable Gogo. The Honorable Undo seems to have something burning. What is out of order, the Honorable Undo?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and with due respect to my colleague, we seem all of us are supporting the bill. And pursuant to Standing Order 95, I request your permission to call the mover to reply. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, honorable members, you know the rules of the House. The Honorable Oundo having stood in his place in accordance to our orders number 95, it is incumbent upon the Speaker yes. Just hold on. The Honorable Ishungwa, you can't shout at all the other members. This is a house of rules. There's a way to deal with this. Members will make a resolution, and I'm just going to proceed to do that. Yes, after the Honorable Gogo finishes, I will ask the House to make a resolution one way or the other. The Honorable Gogo, finalize your submissions.
Yeah, thank you so much for protecting me, Honorable Speaker. I don't know what specific issue Honorable Undo has with me, because other members have spoken to this matter and I had an opportunity to speak. Just allow me to speak, because it is Rangwe people speaking, and I don't know why you want to gag over 160,000 people. And just to conclude, now that the mood of the House is that we call this to question, I believe that this particular bill is an important bill, and especially when we look at the element of bringing in rehabilitation, these people should not be condemned, and rehabilitation should be part of, a key pillar of this bill, so that we have the ones who are already affected brought back to their useful position, and we move forward as a country. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and I support this matter. Thank you.
Honorable members, the Honorable Undo, having stood in his place and requested that the mover be called to reply, under our standing orders number 95. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. We shall proceed with this. The Honorable Ole Sankok.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipatia fursa hii ili niweze kuchangia mswada huu wa Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Control Amendment Bill number 27 of 2020. Honorable Speaker, Mheshimiwa Speaker, hii mswada imekuja kwa wakati ambao inafaa. Na Bwana Speaker, tunaunga mkono mswada huu 100%, aswa kwa sababu vizazi vyetu siko mashakani kwa sababu ya madawa ya kulevya, pombe ikiwa moja hao. Bwana Speaker, Speaker, watu ambao wamechangia kujaribu kutusaidia ni watu kama Mheshimiwa Jicho Pevu, ambao kwa Jicho Pevu aliweza kuwaelezea kwa kina wale watu ambao wanauza madawa katika nchi yetu, ijapokuwa vitengo ambao wanatakiwa kuwakamata na kuwapeleka kotini walishindwa, ilibidi nchi za ng'ambo iweze kuwashika wale ambao tulikuwa tunaita mandugu ambao ni akasha. Mheshimiwa Speaker, sisi kama watu walemavu hatujaangaziwa sana katika mswada huu, na ndio sababu rafiki yangu mwenyekiti wa kamati hii Bwana Koinange ndaongea na yeye mheshimiwa ili tuweze kuangazia maneno ya watu walemavu, kwa sababu nambari yetu inaongezeka kila uchao kwa sababu ya sisi walemavu. Watu wengine wanafuta bangi, wanaharibika kiakili, wanatumia dawa kama heroin, Mheshimiwa Speaker, na kuwa watu walemavu. Wengine wanatumia dawa za kulevya wakiwa na mimba, alafu baadaye watoto wanasaliwa wakiwa na ulemavu wa kiakili. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaongezeka namba, na sisi unajua klabu yetu huwa imejaa, hatutaki kuongeza watu wengine kwa sababu sisi ile manufaa ambao tumepatiwa na serikali hata haijatosha sisi wenyewe, wacha wala ambao wataongezeka kushindana na sisi kwa hiyo manufaa ambao tumepatiwa na serikali. Mheshimiwa Speaker, tumeangazia sana juu ya watu ambao wanauza madawa ya kulevya, lakini hatujaangazia mambo ya jamii ambao inachangia sana kwa hii madawa ya kulevya. Hatujaangazia mambo ya shuleni ambao walimu wetu wengine ndio wanaeneza na kutofunza watoto wetu wakati ambao wako nao ili waweze pia kujikinga kwa madawa ya kulevya. Sana sana jamii ambao haina kiongozi, na nataka kusii kina dada, saa zingine hata kama dada hajaolewa atafute mjomba ili aweze kuhakikisha hao watoto wamelelewa kwa njia ambao inafaa, kwa sababu wakiwa na tabia mzuri, wakiwa wamelewa vizuri, basi watakuwa wazuri wangwana wa kukataa hata hiyo dawa ya kulevya wakiletewa. Na wakikataa, basi hiyo biashara ya dawa ya kulevya inakufia hapo. Lakini jamii ambao na anasi kina dada, Biblia inasema ya kwamba mama ataezolewa na mzee mmoja, na hata kitamaduni yetu. Lakini wakati ambao tunachanganya hapa, uko na mtoto amesaliwa na Mkisii, ingine Masai, ingine Mjaluo, hii mchanganyiko maalum ndio saa zingine inalete confusion, inalete shida mpaka watoto wanatoka wanapatikana nao watu wa kuuza madawa ya kulevya. Kwa hivyo hata kama jamii haina baba, tafuta mjomba ili aweze kueleza watoto njia ambao wanatakiwa kuwa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, nataka kusema ya kwamba wala ambao wameumia sana kwa sababu ya...
Just hold on a minute. The Honorable Kimani seems to have a point of order.
Lakini kwa Kiswahili.
Najua Mheshimiwa Spika, ulikuwa na shauriana na kiongozi wa walio wengi, labda hukusikia yale ambayo ndugu yangu Mheshimiwa nominee 001 ameyasema. Na ameweza kusema ya kuwa mtoto akichanganyika uzazi, awe baba yake sijui ni Mjaluo, mwingine sijui amezaliwa na Mkisii, mwingine na kabila ingine, ya kuwa hayo ndio mambo yanachangia mambo ya utumizi wa madawa ya kulevya. Na sijui ni ushahidi gani alionao wa kuonyesha ya kuwa ukichanganya uzazi utakuwa unaweza kutumia ama utakuwa na uwezo wa kutumia madawa ya kulevya kutokana na uzazi ama mambo ya ukabila. Na haya ndio mambo, Mheshimiwa Spika, tunaomba viongozi tuache kuchanganya kila kitu na mambo ya ukabila. Hakuna mtoto uzaliwa akachagua atazaliwa na baba mgani. Hata nominee 001, najua Mheshimiwa Bwana Spika, nominee 001 kuna ushahidi ya kuwa kuna venye wanashikana na Mheshimiwa Bahati Kimani Ngunjiri na yeye amezaliwa huko Narok. Kwa hivyo sijui kama ni ushahidi kutoka kwa utumizi wake yeye mwenyewe ama mambo namna gani. Ningeomba afafanue ama atoe yale matamshi ya kujaribu kukejeli wale ambao wamezaliwa kutoka kabila tofauti.
Hiyo ni hoja ya nidhamu ya ukweli.
Bwana Spika,
tusichanganye mambo ya ukabila na mambo ya kukosa nidhamu na kukosa mwelekeo kwa maisha.
Bwana Spika,
Mheshimiwa Sankok, nafikiri kama unaweza kufafanua zaidi hilo jambo, ama kama hauwezi itabidi uiondoe hiyo.
Bwana Spika, unajua Kimani Ichung'wah amekuchukua kama ulikuwa kiongozi wa walio wengi, anakuongelesha, kwa hivyo hukuelewa vizuri venye nilikuwa nasema. Bwana Spika, kwa sababu nilikuwa nasema ile boma ambao iko na watoto ambao wako na baba wengine tofauti, hiyo mchanganyiko maalum katika hiyo boma. Kama nikitoa mfano, tuseme hii boma iko na ile dam ambao ng'ombe inakunywa maji, na uko na mtoto ya Jaluo, na uko na mtoto ya Masai, na uko na Muhindi. Hii ya Masai analeta ng'ombe ikunywe ile maji, na hii ya Kikuyu anataka kupanda nyanya yake hapo karibu kufanya irrigation. Sasa watu wanapigana, na ile ya Muhindi yeye anataka kutoa mineral water ndio apate kuuza, na labda ile ya Jaluo anataka kuweka samaki, na hii ya Masai analete ng'ombe 1,000 inakojolea, inaua ile samaki na acid. Sasa hao watoto wanapigana kwa boma alafu wanatoka nje, lakini ile boma ambao iko na utaratibu moja, na ndio sababu katika Biblia, katika kimila yetu.
The Honorable Sankok, you are out of order. Just withdraw and proceed.
Haya, nimeondoa hiyo kwa heshima ya Bwana Spika, kwa sababu uko hapo. Ya mwisho, Bwana Spika, wala ambao wameumia sana kwa hii madawa ya kulevya sio matajiri, hapana, ni wala ambao tunaita hustler, watoto wa wa maskini, wala ambao wana. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilinde kutoka kwa.
No, you are protected. You are fully protected from the Honorable Ichung'wah. The Honorable Ichung'wah, yes, just let the Honorable Sankok.
Kwa hivyo yes, nikimalizia Bwana Spika, naunga mkono huu muswada, lakini
the Honorable Sankok, just hold on. I'll give you your minute. The Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do notice Honorable Sankok wanted to say very strange things. That's why he's going to Kiswahili, so that he can confuse some of us. But he has not succeeded. And I just want to say, is he in order, as a person who is confessing that he's a hustler, to allege that his hustler followers are drug addicts? That is what he's saying. And that is why Honorable Duale is attacking him. Why is he abusing his own followers?
Mimi sijasema hiyo, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, inabidi unilinde kutoka kwa Millie Odhiambo.
Wewe unajua historia ya Millie Odhiambo, unajua maneno yake inakuanga kalikali. Mimi mwenyewe nimesema wala ambao wanaumia sana wenye wanakuja kuuziwa madawa. Na niko na
The Honorable Sankok, today you are in so much trouble. I don't know what it is. You seem to be jumping from the fire into the... Yes. I do not know any history about the Honorable Millie Odhiambo other than that she has served in this house for 3 terms with a fair distinction. Yes, that is the history that the Speaker has. Yes. But the Honorable Sankok, I'll allow you 1 minute to just wind down.
Historia ya Millie Odhiambo nakumbuka wakati anatembea bila viatu. Anyway, Mheshimiwa Speaker, Kenya nilikuwa nasema ni ya kwamba hii madawa ya kulevya kuna ushahidi katika University chuo kikuu ya Masai Mara ambao madawa ile kitu inaitwa sijui ngumu ama KDF inawekwa madawa ya kulevya hata bangi na inawekwa narcotic inauziwa watoto pale kwa mitaani. Ndio sababu nilikuwa nasema saa zingine wale walio chini hao watu wanatengeneza au wakuwe addict kwa kutumia hizo vitu kama ngumu, hizo vitu kama KDF, alafu sasa wanaendelea kuwa wachochole kwa sababu ile kazi kidogo wanafanya, ile pesa kidogo wanapata, wanatumia kwa dawa ya kulevya. Lakini sana sana ni watoto wa matajiri ndio wako na pesa ya kununua yale ambao yalio juu na ndio wanaumia zaidi, na ndio sababu sisi wote tukiwa wananchi wa Kenya na tukiwa wabunge, kuwa wawakilishi wa watu wote, tunaunga mkono huu mswada. Asante sana Bwana Speaker.
The Honorable Sabina Chege, you will speak as chair of Committee on Health on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I just want to tell Honorable Sankok, some of these things are not things to joke around. It doesn't matter who Mr. Speaker, who the father of a child was. And there's no proof about DNA or whether somebody had a mixed profiling.
What is out of order? Let us allow the member to... Yes. The Honorable Dwale, what is out of order?
Nothing out of the procedure. Chair, I heard you saying that Honorable Sabina, you're going to speak as a Chair of Health. Yeah, at what stage does the Speaker, in a motion, at what stage does the Speaker chooses? At what stage somebody will speak as a Chair or as a member of Murang'a County?
The Honorable Dwale, you are out of order. The Honorable Sabina is Chair of Health. And it is a fact in this House. If I've allowed her to speak as a member for Murang'a and also as Chair of Health, what is out of order? Proceed, the Honorable Sabina.
Thank you. I just want also to just tell Honorable Dore that yes, it's true I'm the Chair of Health, but to this also a health matter, the issue of drug use and abuse. And Mr. Speaker, what I was saying, as a parent, this matter is not about the children of the poor or the children of the rich, not the issue of dynasty or hustlers. This is a matter that has affected many children from all walks of life in this country. And as a mother, I'll feel sad when Honorable Sankok, and I respect him, would want even to trivialize the issue of disability and everything else about the drugs abuse. Mr. Speaker, having said that, let me just say I want to appreciate the committee and the chair for the effort that they have put, because there have been many gaps, Mr. Speaker, on the previous law that existed. Mr. Speaker, there were some things that were not very clear, and there were some gaps, and especially the gaps on penalties that were to be faced, and the issue about, Mr. Speaker, people who would conceal information, people who would conspire, and it was not clear in the previous law on even the punishment that was supposed to, they were supposed to face, Mr. Speaker. Having looked at the increase of drug abuse in Kenya, in the year 2018, Mr. Speaker, from year 2017, and I'm looking, I would like to refer to the State of Judiciary report on administration 2018-2019, there was a drastic rise on use of drugs, up to around 44.1%, Mr. Speaker. And we had individual cases on prosecution around 2,268. And I'll say this is just a tip on the iceberg, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mental health is a reality in this country. Though not all, and I would like to say a lot of mental health have been contributed by the use of by drugs abuse. Mr. Speaker, this country we have seen the people who are actually affected by law are the drugs users, but they are victims of circumstance. Mr. Speaker, we have seen some children going to the university. There are parties that are done, they are called freshers parties. Then they are given drugs unknowingly and they become addicts. As a chair of health, Mr. Speaker, I've gone to several conferences and I've met children, and I'll say young people, who are drugs abusers, who are fighting to quit. But Mr. Speaker, if they tell you the story on how they got introduced to these hard drugs, it is really a very sad story, not willingly. And we find that these are the people the law is running after, but leaving the cartels, leaving the drug barons who make a lot of money out of our innocent children, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it was also a mistake, and I'm hoping the Committee on Interior would look at it, that NACADA, the body that is supposed to look at the regulations of drugs in Kenya, especially the misuse of drugs, that is supposed to help our children or save them from drugs abuse, it's under Interior. The drugs abusers are actually people who are sick, and they are not criminals. The criminals are the ones who sell these drugs in this country, Mr. Speaker. And I'm hoping that the office of NACADA should move from Interior to the Ministry of Health so that it can do the work they're supposed to do, build more rehabilitation facilities in this country because they are very minimal. And actually the ones that are there are very, very expensive. If you have a meeting with parents who are actually having their children abusing drugs, or even some of these children who like to leave and quit, it is almost unaffordable to go for any rehabilitation, Mr. Speaker. And when they do, sometimes NHIF covers up to around 60,000 in very few facilities that have been approved. And so as a nation, as we even look at the way we, punish the ones who are selling these drugs, Mr. Speaker, we need also to look at how do we build rehabilitation centers, the availability of drugs, even regulations of the people who are treating these drugs abusers, because some of them make them more dependent instead of helping them. Mr. Speaker, it is important for this country to know that the government runs a harm reduction program in Kenya, where we have some NGOs that actually give a drug called methadone to help the ones who are drugs abusers to actually quit. And some are even given syringes to avoid transmission of diseases. But the same government that gives this kind of facility for harm reduction is the same one that arrests the ones who are using these drugs. So as a country, we need to have candid talk and see how we can be able to help many of our children who have become drugs addicts. It doesn't make sense, Mr. Speaker, when a young man smokes bangi and then is arrested, goes to jail because they cannot be able to afford the penalties, and maybe he was misled by his friends. When they get to jail, where they're supposed to be corrected, Mr. Speaker, they actually go and get introduced to hard drugs. So it makes it very difficult. And it's, I want to support this bill because there's clear, definition and penalties from various people, and especially the ones who are trafficking these drugs. It is also important, Mr. Speaker, that we now have a clear penalty for the law enforcers who actually collude sometimes. You'll hear there was a big consignment of drugs intercepted either at the airport or somewhere else. It disappears, then you don't know. And even the ones who even conceal information, it's clear now on how they'll be fined, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I'd want just to put this House into alert, and I think Honorable Sankok, until he decided to trivialize the matter, he mentioned about our children being given food substance, but that are raised in the drugs. And Mr. Speaker, I have learned from my local administration of one of the sweets that is being sold in the shopping centers just next to the school at 1 shilling. Mr. Speaker, when the children and the teachers have given a confession, and this is something I'm following up, Mr. Speaker, children go to class, they're not able to concentrate. And that sweet is raised with a drug called Kubel. Mr. Speaker, it is being sold over the counter. And they're at 1 shilling. And the children are becoming addicts. They are stealing from their parents to go and purchase that sweet. Mr. Speaker, I would urge this House that we actually pass this bill so that we can be able to follow these criminals. The ones who are transporting these chemicals or even manufacturing these drugs, Mr. Speaker, should be put on spot. And it's also important that we also regulate over-the-counter drugs, Mr. Speaker. I am aware of some of the chemists that actually sell tablets very cheaply, 10 shillings. You'll see young people over lunchtime taking a soda, and they have now taken it with that drug, and they totally become, addicts, Mr. Speaker. And so with this, I support, Mr. Speaker, and I'll urge the House that we fast track and actually pass these proposed amendments in this bill, Mr. Speaker, so that we can save a generation. And let us not take this matter lightly. This is a serious matter. And if we pass this amendment, Mr. Speaker, we can save a generation. I thank you.
The Honorable Masara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice concerning this amendment bill of narcotics, drugs, and psychotropic substance control and amendment bill of 2020. Mr. Speaker, first I want to congratulate and appreciate the work done by this committee. It has taken them a long time. I'm a member of this committee, and I know there were so many interests concerning the same bill because it was going to affect so many of drug barons and those who have been cartels in the system concerning selling of these drugs. Mr. Speaker, I'm supporting this bill as well because it has tried to bridge the gap which was existing in the current Principal Act, Mr. Speaker. For example, the issue of penalties. In the current Act, Mr. Speaker, you realize that those who are handling small drugs are being penalized by giving them a higher penalty compared to drug barons. Mr. Speaker, that one is captured in Section 4A of this current amended bill. Mr. Speaker, this section will ensure that those who are real barons are penalized to an extent that they may not use their money gotten from selling of drugs to release themselves of the penalties, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for a long time, those who are selling small drugs, those who are dealing in low-level volumes of drugs, have suffered a lot in this country using the current existing bill, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, the amended bill will cure that. Mr. Speaker, if you go to Section 80, A, B of the current, the bill in the House, Mr. Speaker, is talking about the information. Before, the current act was silent about somebody who was having information concerning commissioning of drug abuse or sales of drugs, but the current one is going to, it has details, ways of dealing with information. Mr. Speaker, to an extent that even that somebody who has information and given it to the right authorities will not be penalized because it is stating clearly that there is no criminal or civil proceeding which will be taken to court for somebody who has given information concerning the subject matter. Mr. Speaker, the other aspect which is very important in this bill is concerning somebody who's dealing with the drugs outside the country. If you can recall, there are so many pending cases in the court where there were no acts, there were no laws which were compelling somebody who have information or is dealing with the drugs but is outside the country. But this current bill in Section 4B, Mr. Speaker, is very clear about how to handle such a person which is outside the country and dealing with the drugs, or somebody who is within the country and dealing with other people outside the country in the selling of these narcotic drugs. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I want to say that you left Honorable Sankok to run away with a big omission when he mentioned that people with lower earning are the people who usually use drugs. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, that was not right. If you take the statistic of those who are using drugs, it is both the rich and the poor. It doesn't matter whether you are educated or not educated. Therefore, we need to support this bill to help this society. The society of today, Mr. Speaker, was built with the former leaders when they put mechanism which will have stopped people from using drugs. Therefore, when we want to profile people and we talk in the National Assembly about people who are hustlers and dynasty concerning drug, Mr. Speaker, that is uncalled for. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I would love to request you that that aspect of whatever Honorable Sankok mentioned should be deleted from the record of this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It should be deleted because it's going to set a very bad precedent. And people who do not have money, who call themselves al-salah, will start taking drugs because, after all, somebody in the name of Mheshimiwa Sankok talked about it in the National Assembly and nothing was done about it. So it was like we are justifying the use of drugs in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity.
The Honorable Murugara Gitonga, member for Tharaka.
Thank you.
He's a senior counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill, the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill of 2020. This is a timely bill, a bill that tries to bring virtue into life as far as drugs and drug abuse is concerned. Issues of drugs are security issues because anything that deviates from the normal life, especially when under drug influence, becomes a security threat and needs to be tackled in security parameters. Drugs are a menace in this country, and it is vitally important that we have into force law that is going to protect our children and our citizens against drugs abuse. Drugs affect life in different ways. We have seen drug abusers unable to work. They have become junkies who actually cannot do anything meaningful to earn a living. We have seen drugs raiding into our schools, and we had cases of misconduct, cases of breach of discipline purely because of drugs. We also know for sure that there are people who try to earn living through trading in drugs, either as what are known as mules or couriers, and this has grave consequences. As members of parliament, oftentimes we've been called upon to try and help our constituents who are jailed abroad because they've been nabbed with drugs. And this is the reason why we are saying this law is timeless. This law should actually come into force so that we are protected. The law we have before us today provides for very heavy penalties. Penalties that are unusual in the criminal jurisprudence. In the criminal law, it is a cardinal principle that the judge must always have a discretion to mete out penalty without any interference from the law. And this is the reason why in all criminal cases and in all penalties prescribed, we have maximums. But in this law, we actually have minimums. And the idea is to ensure that those penalties do deter criminals from committing these offenses. Whether these criminals are Kenyans, whether they are international traffickers, because we know very well that there are international elements who have converted our country into a haven of drugs. And this is where they do their business. Lucrative business that has made them go up the scales of life at the expense of Kenyans and our children. Therefore, for this very particular moment, I do agree that the penalties meted here should actually be the minimums. Minimum jail penalties, minimum fines, such that the judge will have no option in the list of cases he can only give the minimum. Otherwise, he will be at liberty to give as much as he can under the sun. There is an element of debate that we should have in that as you make penalties stiffer, as you make penalties expensive, you encourage corruption. Now, the dealers in drugs will find it easier to bribe so that they can get away from the law. This is why we must extend this law to the security agents, the enforcers of the law, such that if anyone abets any criminal offense dealing with drugs, he is as good as a drug dealer and he would actually face similar consequences. Therefore, I do also agree that the minimum penalties given for aiders and abettors of crimes in drugs are actually good penalties. They are stiff, good penalties. Importantly, this is the high time we safeguarded our country from drug abuse. And this extends everywhere, even in the constituencies. I'll take the case of my constituency. The Raka constituency is a rural constituency. It may not be exposed to many of these drugs, apart from cannabis, which is a special type of a drug prescribed for elsewhere and in a different way. But again, this is rampant. I have heard of cases in schools where schoolboys and girls are actually smoking bag. And it needs to be addressed. And there are various ways of addressing this. We must now move into teaching our children in schools the virtues in respect of not abusing drugs. Let us have our curriculum in schools making a provision for education so that we teach our children how bad it is to abuse drugs, how bad it is to abuse alcohol, and how bad it is to indulge in vices that can actually lead to crimes. Of late, there has been a surge in our schools of cases of discipline. We have seen dormitories and other school infrastructural facilities, which we build with a lot of labor and pain, especially using our CDF monies, going up in flames. 99% of those cases, those infrastructural buildings are set on fire by students. And those students cannot be said to be normal. Sometimes, and in most of the cases, these students are acting under the influence of drugs. And this is how serious the drug menace is in the country. So let's make it a point as we pass this law, as the house that propagates law. Let us make it our rallying call that we will make our country safe, we will make our country drug-free, we will make our children live normal lives away from drugs and alcohol and other vices that disrupt their lives. Once we do this, then we're on the right track. But before we reach that point, this is what we do. Let us dare every drug dealer, especially the international criminals who come from South America or from wherever on transit to other African countries which are notorious for drug abuse, that once we get you and you get into our jail, the years you get will not be less than 20 if you cannot afford a fine of over 20 million shillings. That way, they will also be discouraged from doing drug business in our country. And where they are tempted to do so, they will face the consequences of the law if they are caught. With those remarks, I do support this and urge the House to pass it so that we have even a better law in place, because the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act was actually passed a long time ago. However, it has not been very operative purely because there has been debate regarding penalties, there have been court challenges, and in most cases, corruption has actually hindered the fight against drugs and drug abuse. I support.
The Honorable Dr. Nyikal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this act, this bill, which I support. Mr. Speaker, the abuse of narcotics and psychotropic substances is a big problem in the country, and it's really a wide problem, and it's affecting people, particularly the youth, disrupting their lives, disrupting their education, disrupting families, young families. Not only that, apart from the mental illnesses that occur, they also actually get physical illnesses that arise from this. And Mr. Speaker, diseases like hepatitis, HIV, actually is rampant amongst people who are using this. But the big issue is basically the mental illness, the mental state, and the personality problems that arise from these drugs. Even non-communicable diseases, some of them after long use actually predispose people to diseases like heart diseases. And Mr. Speaker, the problem is made worse by the availability of a wide range of substances. Some are even not thought to be very, very dangerous, starting from alcohol, even marijuana, even things that are sold, like a member said, kuber, that are actually sold in the shops, sedatives that are easily available, such as Valium, that actually people can buy, strong analgesics that again are prescribed and if not used, like morphine or codeine, and particularly when we say we are using them for palliative reasons for people with cancers and long-term painful conditions, they still make these drugs available in the environment. And then there are the hardcore drugs that we know, like heroin and codeine. But also important are precursors. Those are substances that would sometimes be used in normal medical circumstances, but are precursors and can be used to produce these drugs. So, Mr. Speaker, the environment
the
is
Honorable Dr. Nyikal. The Honorable Dr. Nyikal, we seem to have been caught up with time. I always enjoy listening to you on matters like this. I am sure that you will be able to inform the House about these particular proposals that we're making here. The next time this matter is set down, you will have 8 minutes when the matter is set down, and you'll have priority. Honourable members, there's been a lot of interest.
Mr. Speaker.
There are still 20 members who are interested in speaking to this clearly, so it is a matter that is affecting our nation greatly. But we've run out of time, and hopefully when the matter is set down for consideration again, the honourable members who have interest will be available to be able to ventilate and express themselves on it. Honourable members, the time being 6:30 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, the 9th of March 2021 at 7 p.m.